Thank you, Elaine, for sharing a few moments with us so that we can share some of your ideas with the Rotarians in District 5550. And I wonder if you could begin with just a bit of background on yourself personally, where you grew up and that kind of thing.
I grew up in rural Manitoba, 14 miles northwest of Gilbert Plains and 14 miles northeast of Grandview, Manitoba. My parents had a general store, a country general store, and I helped them out with that. And we had a bit of an acreage that we had cattle and pigs and chickens and geese on. And that's where I went to school, in a one-room school, 8 grades in one school, Tardicu School, until grade 8. And at that, right when I was supposed to be going into grade 9 and moving into town with my uncle, the Manitoba government came up with a plan which it was able to transport rural kids into by bus into the town for the high schools.
Oh.
So I was able to graduate in grade 12 and then went on to university and stayed there for quite a while. I got an honors degree in chemistry, master's degree in chemistry, synthetic organic chemistry, and then I worked for 2 years in the physical chemistry lab. And then I went back to graduate school and got a PhD in synthetic organic chemistry again and photochemistry. And then got an industrial postdoctoral fellowship and worked in industry in the asphalt business.
Wow. And that's when, how did you end up being an editor in the asphalt business?
Well, in the asphalt business, we had some research done, and we developed, patented actually, a product which incorporated old ground up tires into asphalt emulsions that are used for seal coat, as a seal coat material. And so I made a presentation to the Canadian Technical Asphalt Association, and and that was published in their proceedings. And the following year I was asked to be the editor of the proceedings, and that's something that I continued to do for 17 years after that.
Oh, neat. So how did you become involved with Rotary, and what's some of your highlights in Rotary today?
Well, my husband Ed was a Rotarian for a number of years before I was, but I was I guess a friend of Rotary because we were hosting quite a few exchange students at that time in our district, in our club, with our club, the Charleswood Club. And so I had been involved as the editor of CTAA and as the president of Manitoba Ladies Recreational Ringette League and president of the Tuxedo Tennis Club. And I spent a year as the president of the Canadian Technical Asphalt Association. So when all these things were over and done with, I thought then I would have the time to spend as a Rotarian. I'd been asked to join previously, but I didn't really have the time to commit to it because commitment to Rotary is service above self, and you've got other things that you're serving that you're not servicing too much too well. So 2008, January 7th, joined Rotary.
Okay, 2008.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So that's about
10
years ago.
Yeah.
So you've had a rapid rise to the become the district governor.
Well, I had a lot of practice doing this kind of stuff with being president of various other things, so it's and president of the club, of course. And I think probably it was helpful for me to have accompanied Ed in his role as district governor, so that the people in the district knew something about my skills, whatever. Yeah. And
I'm sure a number of Rotarians must be curious about whether or not this is the first husband and wife team who have both become district governors. Is this a first or not?
In our district it is. I am aware of a couple from British Columbia that were a husband and then a wife, or the other way around, Penny Offer and her husband Chris.
Oh, right.
And our current district governor, our current president, Rotary president, and his wife were both also district governors in Australia.
Oh, okay.
So I was aware of that.
So it is fairly common.
Well, it's not that common, but it happens.
It happens,
yeah.
yes. Yes, that's very interesting. So tell us a little bit about your visit to San Diego and your training to become district governor this year.
The training. The training has been continued before and after. Continues before and after the assembly in San Diego. The training in the Zones Institute is very, very condensed and with a lot of stuff in between, with very short periods of breaks. Whereas at assembly it was a lot more relaxed. The breaks were breaks and breakfasts and the dinners were, the time frame there was extended a lot more to allow for fellowship, meeting the district governors-elect from all around the world. And I really liked that extra bit of relaxation that took place in the assembly at San Diego. It was very well organized, incredibly. And I was just astounded at how easily they appeared to handle over 700 people involved, 538 district governors, and then the instructors and the staff and everything else. It was impressive.
Is there, what message did you get out of to share with the Rotarians in your district?
Well, I was really shocked to learn that the number of Rotarians has remained at 1.2 million people for 15 to 20 years. But at the same time, I was okay with that, but at the same time, the number of Rotary clubs that have been chartered has risen by 15% from 15 years ago. And the number of new members inducted into Rotary over that same time period was 2.2 million.
Wow.
So it appeared to me, wow, like the attraction to Rotary is there, but the retention isn't. And there are many approaches being taken to try and get people engaged right away as soon as they join a club, and trying to find ways to, well, at the Council of Legislation, introducing a lot of flexibility into meetings and memberships. But John Smarge, who's the aide to the current district governor-elect, president-elect of Rotary, had a different idea about what clubs should do to retain their members. And he said, start working on retention before the members come to your club. And how do you do that? You let your community know what Rotary stands for and what the culture of your club is. In other words, what you like to work on, apply your efforts to, and so that anybody who joins your club knows what they're getting into. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to let people know what the membership costs are and fees for meals, if you're having meals and stuff like that. But to have, when they join, they know what they're joining, and then there shouldn't be quite the problem in losing members. 2.2 million inducted in 15 years, and yet we're still at 1.2 million.
Yeah, it does seem contradictory, doesn't it?
It just absolutely floored me.
Yeah.
So retention is important, And the way it's important then for clubs to be able to communicate to their own communities where they are, what they do, what they stand for, and so that they could, those who think the same way will want to join and they'll stay. It's better, John Smarge said, it's better than hoping that the new members will adapt to the club's culture, and it's better than having the club work on changing its culture, which is allowed. Yes. By Rotary now. Yeah. All kinds of things are allowed by the Rotary International's Council legislation of 2016. So.
Yeah, it's become much more flexible.
Yeah.
So we have to use that to our advantage.
That's to our advantage, and so I think clubs need to figure out how to communicate with their communities. Good point.
Yeah. What specifically, here I go with my hands, specifically would you like to focus on in your coming year? It's coming fast, in July. And what are some of the plans that you have for your year?
Well, I have to visit 47 clubs, and I'm really looking forward to that. But my goals, I would like to increase the number of members in our district by 10%. So that means about 140 members, which works out to be about 3 members per club if you want to average that out.
Yes.
And why? Because with the increased membership, we will have more people and resources in which to do good in the world, whether it's locally or internationally. The other thing I would like to do is to encourage a lot more members in every club to become familiar with My Rotary and working with Club Runner, so that they can make themselves available, so they can avail themselves to the incredible resources about Rotary and things, ideas to share, and about what the roles require, what you should be doing if you've taken on a role, or could be doing if you've taken on a role in a Rotary Club. There's videos, there's documents, there's what else? I had a list of things, but there's and publications that you can order or just simply download, and there are a lot of videos from Assembly and from Rotary International conventions that are very interesting and helpful in so many ways. Whether you're a member on the executive of the club or just an ordinary member, just to learn about Rotary, all things Rotary, particularly in Rotary.org, there's so much information. It actually, some people kind of get overloaded and they really don't know where to go. But if you have an aim, if you have a goal to accomplish something, you're going to find help from those websites. As a matter of fact, the Webby People's Choice Award for associations was given to Rotary.org's website. Yeah. The last thing I think I would like to do is somehow find a way to help clubs deliver their message to their communities if they wish to do so.
Yeah. Okay. Now, if there was one thing you would like to, one message you would like to leave with the clubs in District 5550, what might it be?
Well, the theme is Be the Inspiration. For Rotary International and President for 2018-19, Barry Rassin. Our conference, which is taking place May 3rd to 5th, 2019 at the family-friendly and pet-friendly Canadians Polo Park in Winnipeg,
Okay.
is impressed by the family of Rotary. Our speakers are all Rotarians and have incredible messages to bring.
Okay, so you have that started already.
Yes, I have a committee that's headed by past district governor Jim Forrestal.
Okay.
And he's got the heads of all the various topics, areas that require attention initially and throughout the organization period until May 3rd, 2019.
Okay.
He's got them all selected, and they're all. We've had several meetings already.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're really prepared.
I hope so.
And I think you have a company of your husband and you know the route to all the clubs.
Yes.
And it's getting to know their new executives, of course.
For sure.
But I'd like to thank you today for sharing your thoughts with the district, and I wish you a most successful year, and thank you very much.
Thank you. It was